Good evening. It's Tuesday, May 16th. So, the last video I talked about those opportunities you have to hang out with fellow artists. And, my experience comes from ceramics. I'm sure it's the same for watercolorists or, almost anyone who's doing something that's sort of unusual and that in your area there's probably not a whole lot of people who do it. And what I want to talk about now, one of my most avid readers, watchers, whatever, commented on how frustrating it may be when you are with these colleagues and they're doing some aspect of what they do badly or wrong. Because they didn't come to you for instruction. They're coming for a social thing, or in our case, we're selling pots and socializing and so forth. But nobody's coming up to me saying, how do I make my cups better? Rightly or wrongly, they're all pretty sad, and I'm pretty sad. And it means that some poor techniques or poor ideas can continue unabated. This comes up a lot when I am teaching the martial arts I teach. I teach a couple of European-based martial arts with weapons. And anyway, one of the first things that comes up if I get a new teacher or someone new into our local practice is I need to know what they already know. Because I need to know if there are things they have to unlearn. For instance, our martial art does not permit any kind of kicking. So if you come to our martial art with almost any kind of history in Taekwondo or Karate or any of those martial arts where you kick, those skills have to be suppressed. We have to watch them very carefully and say, no, don't do that. It's not permitted in what we do, and it is absolutely not safe. I mean, that's part of why it's not permitted. It's you're putting yourself at hazard. You're putting your opponent at hazard. And so in many ways, it can be much simpler if my student knows no previous martial arts, because then they don't have to unlearn anything. Every martial art has its limitations. It has its rules, things you do not do, either because it's not considered part of that form or because the way you're doing what you're doing, there's no safe way to regulate it. In ceramics, the stakes potentially are lower, although, for instance, I have a lot of things where I cannot keep silent. If I see a photo of somebody using the lid of their electric kiln as a table, I will generally make a comment that the physics are not good for that. Those lids are not designed to bear weight other than the weight of themselves, and it's sort of a pet peeve. I've learned to keep quiet about spindling handles and bad foot rings, and uneven wall thickness, and heavy bottoms, and anyway, there's a lot. And the thing is, for all I know, there are things that I'm doing that by rights I should unlearn doing, either because they were never a good idea or because something has happened in the past however many years and decades to make what made sense before not make sense now. So for instance, Simon Levin has a video he's posted about the issue of S-cracks and the rate of drying of things and combating what I was taught, which is that compression and so forth is used to resist S-cracks in the bottoms of things. There's a whole debate going about whether you should slip or score when you join a handle to something. Personally, I am a big fan now of pulling handles straight off the pot. I don't always do it, but I usually do. Which wasn't what I was taught as a first semester ceramic student. It was a completely different way. It was very time consuming and took up a lot of room in this studio. I remember being sort of pleasantly surprised when Janet Mansfield showed a better way to make teapots. One of the challenges is you make the body of the teapot and the lid of the teapot, and you make the spout of the teapot. But the problem is the spout is drying faster because of the way it's made, and there's this whole challenge of getting it stick. Well, her solution was to make the body and the lid the day before, and then throw the spout just before she attached it. And you think, how can you attach something that you've just thrown? Well, it can be done. She did it. And it's a better way. And watching her, I unlearned the previous way and learned her way. So for all of us, whatever it is, we should probably keep an eye out for things we need to unlearn. Things we've taken for granted, assumed were right, assumed would always be right, and are no longer the best option. Unlearning. It's important. Have a good day.